Hello everyone, my name is Light and welcome back to Hopelessly Bedrock. Alright folks, if you've seen the last video, you know what's going on. The Great Exodus is upon us. Alas, we are the last person standing. However, that will not stop us. We will continue to have fun and we will keep going. All right, folks. Now, in order to prep the world, I do still have a couple more things that I need to do. So I thought, I would share that with you guys today. Some of you may not have seen a couple of these programs that I'm going to use to do some of the tasks. So I thought that would be rather interesting, in case you were interested in doing something like this to your own worlds. However, before we get to that, there are a couple things in the nether that I do still want to do before we finish it off because we're actually going to completely reset the nether. However, before we do that, I want to make sure we go down there. So first of all, I can actually show you what the nether looks like in the RTX since we've never actually been there yet. And as well, there are a few things at the Nether Fortress that I would like to get, including some blaze rods and possibly a few more wither skulls. I'm thinking maybe a few more beacons might be handy, so we'll probably grab some of those at the same time. All right, folks. So hang on, I'll get us turned around, and yeah, we'll get inside. We'll hit up the portal, and we'll get off to the Nether. Ah, just love that. Isn't that beautiful? Hey, Johnny. So, in case anybody didn't remember, we do have a Johnny here. So he's captured in a boat. He's actually been here for quite some time. I do have some plans for him in the future, so don't worry. We'll get back to him. And same with these couple foxes that we have over here. I have a couple plans for these guys, so yeah, we'll get back to them in the future as well. However, what we're looking for is over here. Here's the portal. Ah, nether portals look beautiful in RTX. They're so shiny, they're so bright. All right, let's go in. All right, folks, here we are. This is it. So this is, for those of you who are new and maybe seeing this series for the first time, this is our nether hub, or at least you know what we had set up of it. So I figured, we'd take a look at this one last time before we reset it, and everything is gone. I just love this blue ice. It looks fantastic in the RTX. It actually acts as a light source, which is great. Goes really well off the purple glass. It looks almost blue because of the light. And the fire. Oh, the fire is beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, just lovely. So this was the path to my place, obviously. That's my portal there. And then, of course, we had some signs, showing the other ways. I'm going to take you this way first so we can go into the main room for the hub. Now, we're going to have to be careful. It's possible there might be a ghast in here because I believe there's a Soul Sand Valley up above us. All right, let's find the button and see if we can get inside. Ah, there we go. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Absolutely love it. The red fire, oh, that looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's a shame. All of this is going to be gone. Yeah, so this was the way to storm space. This was versus over here. I think this went to a bastion or something like that, if I stand correct. Not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've been down here. But I thought we'd take one last look. Beautiful. Alright. Now, our next stop, folks, is going to be a nether fortress. And that is actually way up this way. So, that being said, I'm going to keep you with me until we get to the end of the hall so you can enjoy the view. And then once we get there, I'll cut and we'll meet you at the fortress. So this was the way to I's place, I believe. Yep, that's his portal there. We passed Mason's, his was on this side. And this is basically where the hub kind of stopped. It was never extended after we got here. It was actually me who did all this. I did have plans on extending it, but you know what? now that we're going to reset the nether, I'm actually, I'm not too disappointed because I kind of wanted to redo all this. So at least now we'll have another opportunity. Hey, I'm trying to do a video, you. Get out of here. Huh. All right, well, now that, now that the skeleton's out of the way, I'll meet you guys at the fortress. See you in a bit. All right, just before we head into the fortress, I thought I would stop here and show you guys what the quartz looks like in the RTX. I think that is absolutely beautiful, nice and easy to find. We go up a few more rungs. Voila, there's our nether brick, meaning we're at the fortress. Now our first stop is going to be right down here, which is the blaze farm. So let's get a move on before this guy shoots us. Alright, and as we can see down this hallway, we have this lovely iron door. So this is what they look like in RTX, absolutely beautiful. Click the button, door opens up, we can go inside. Now if we look in here, this is actually where the blazes spawn. This was meant to be kind of like a view area, so you could come here, have a look in, watch the blazes spawn and go down. And look at the spawner, guys, in RTX. Look at the eyes. Absolutely beautiful. I love how vibrant that is. Absolutely love it. Alright, now, to get to the Trident Killer, that's actually right down here, so let's open up these trapdoors. If we go down, that should bring us right to the chest, which is right here. We open it up and take a look. Voila! All kinds of blaze rods. Now, luckily, I brought a few shulkers with me, so we'll definitely have more than enough space. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll collect these up in the shulkers. Once I'm done there, I'm going to stick around for a little bit so I can go around, maybe do a bit of fighting, get a few wither skulls. And once I'm done that, I'll meet you guys back at the base. Until then. Alright folks, we are back from the nether. I got everything I needed, so that was the blaze rods, and actually did pretty well. Got an additional 9 wither skulls, so we can get some extra beacons, when that time comes. However, it is now time to say goodbye to this world as we know it. So the first program that we're actually going to take a look at is a program called Amulet. And if you've never heard of this before, I would actually recommend checking out the video by Silent Whisperer. He actually did a showcase video on this, and it's pretty good. I've been using it since then, and I really enjoy it. So hopefully you guys enjoy a look at this. And if you're interested in getting this program, I will have the link for it down in the description of the video. All right, so give me a moment. I'll load up the program, and I'll see you there. All right, folks. So after downloading and extracting Amulet, when you open it for the first time, this is the window that you will be greeted with. So as you can see, not much to it, just a few options. The one we want, of course, is Open World, so go ahead and click that. When you do, you'll get greeted with this secondary window. And not only can you open Bedrock worlds with this application, you can also open your Java worlds. So one really good use for this application is converting a world. So if you had, a Bedrock world that you wanted to convert to Java, or a Java world that you wanted to convert to Bedrock. Now, keeping in mind there are limitations of that when it comes to things like redstone and stuff, but it is a possibility with this application. And so in our case, we are looking to open a Bedrock world. So we're going to click here where it says Bedrock. You will get a listing of your worlds. I'm already connected to the folder that I want to be in. So looking at the images, I can use this as a reference to select the world I want. Now I know that it's actually this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click on the world. And we'll give it just a minute. And it'll go ahead and it'll bring up that world. Now, if you get a message like this at your top of your amulet that says not responding, don't worry about it. It just takes a moment to bring it up. Once it loads it in, you'll get greeted with a window that looks like this. Over on the side here, you'll have these 3 tabs. The one that we're looking for is right here. That says 3D Editor. So go ahead, click that. And that'll open up the editing tool, which will load right here. Now, it will take a moment to load, depending on the size of your world. And again, if you get the not responding at the top, don't worry about it. Your world will load. All right, so there we go. The world has loaded in. So let's go ahead and we'll make it bigger. So right now we are in 3D mode. We are inside the castle. So I'm going to go ahead for what we need to do. We actually need this in 2D mode. So if you want to see it in 2D or view it from top down, you can come up here. You can click this button here, put it in 2D, and you get this type of view. So this is the castle right here. Now, this is not the area that we are looking to prune. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to move around, and we're going to see if we can find the right area. So the spot we are looking for is actually more up this way. Now over here, this is where I's place used to be. So I want to see if we can reset all this area here because there was a lot of work that would have been done there, especially underground in this area right here. So I'd like to reset all that. But when we're doing so, we do need to be careful because over here we have other builds, such as the trading hall, I believe is right back here. If we go up this way a little bit, yep, there's the trading hall right there. Or actually, sorry, that's the gold farm. So the trading hall is right here. And then, of course, if we come back over this way, we get back to the castle, which is over here. So what we're going to use this tool to actually do is we're going to reset a lot of these chunks. So there's a couple ways you can do that. Try to load in, as much of the map as you possibly can at any one given time, because you can actually select a bunch of chunks and do a great big deletion all in one shot. All right, now in order to select multiple chunks, you just, pick the one you want to start on, click and hold with your mouse, and then drag over all the chunks that you like. Now, unfortunately, I did not select the right tool. Right now I'm on the select tool, so it's actually going to select all those like that. So that's not what we want. In order to get the proper tool, you come down to the bar down here, and we want to click on this one right here that says chunk. So we click on chunk like that, and it automatically changes it to our chunk selection, which is perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now, in order to reset the chunks, you come over here to this side, and we can see we got two buttons here, which is delete chunks and delete unselected chunks. Now, for our purposes, we want to delete the stuff we actually selected, so make sure that we use the first button. But you could do this in the reverse. So if you had a specific area that you wanted to keep, you could highlight it using this tool, and then you could select this button to delete everything around it. So you could do it the opposite way. Up to you. Now I want to reset this area, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll click Delete Chunks. When you do that, it's going to give you this message asking you if you want to load the chunk in the original state, so how it came when the seed was first created. And that's exactly what we're looking for, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Yes. Perfect. All right, so it's done that entire piece. Now there is a little more of the map that I want to do. I'm going to go ahead, I'll get the rest of that done. When I got that done, I'll meet you guys in the next tool. I think you're going to like the next one, it's really cool. All right, folks, we are done with Amulet. So now the next tool we're going to take a look at is called the Prune tool. So this was wrote by Foxy No-Tail, and you can get it from his website, which is foxynotail.com. I'll have a link to that in the description below. This is a fantastic tool that you can use to either trim or reset entire dimensions. So once you get the tool from the website and unpack it from the zip file, you'll get contents of a folder that looks something like this. The way that I like to do it is actually use the exe. So if you just double click prune exe, you'll get a little window that looks like this, and it's going to ask you to enter in some options. Now, the first thing that I said I wanted to do was reset the entire nether. So the first thing we have to do is actually select the dimension. So for the nether, it's going to be -1. So you type in -1 just like that, press enter, and now it's going to ask me for the coordinates that we wish to prune. It's going to ask for 2 x's and 2 z's. So think of it as, we're giving it the dimensions for a square. So we're going to give it the bottom left corner, and we're going to give it the top right corner. It'll use that to figure out the other 2 corners and then get rid of anything outside of that space. So in our case, because I want to prune the entire dimension, I'm going to say the bottom, first it's looking for the bottom right. So I'm going to say -1, then -1. Now it's going to look for the top right, and I'm going to say 1 and 1. So essentially what I'm telling it to do is anything outside of, this 3x3 block area centered around 0, 0, I want you to wipe it out. And now that we've selected our coordinates, it's going to give us another option here to let us know if we want to actually go ahead, if we want to say no, or if we just want to scan. If you do a scan, it's basically going to take a look, see what it has to do, and then it'll give you a little report. In my case, I've done that, and that's not really the purpose here, so I'm going to go ahead. We'll click Y to say yes. Once you do that, you'll get some information like this to let you know that it's doing its thing. Right now, it's doing some calculations. Once the calculations are done, it starts parsing the world database. By parsing the world database, it's essentially going through it to figure out what it has to remove and doing the job. It's pretty quick. This really depends on the size of your world. If you have a huge world, this process will obviously be a little longer. But if your world's not that big, or if you haven't explored a ton of the dimension that you're pruning, then it's usually not that bad. But there we go. We're done. Our nether has been completely reset. And not only have we reset the nether, we have also deleted all the portal data that was associated to the portals in the nether. So that way, if there's any portals remaining in the overworld, like mine for instance, when I go back through mine into the nether, it will actually create a brand new portal rather than creating nothing at all if we didn't get rid of the portal data. All right, so that is pretty cool. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of pruning in the overworld. So using Amulet, you see me, get rid of some of the chunks that were around my base. Well, now we're going to use the prune tool to get rid of basically everything else outside of a square that the base is in. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We'll press any key to continue. That's going to close the tool because that job is done. So in order to do the next job, just open the tool again. So this time, since we're going to work with the overworld, I'm going to push 0 for the dimension. That's the overworld. Okay, now it's going to ask me for the coordinates. I do have those in a text file right here, I believe. Yes. So here we go here. So the low X that we want in this case is 494. So go ahead, we'll type that in. So 494 like that. The low Z that we want is negative 1200. So we'll type that in right here. So that's the bottom right corner, or bottom left, sorry. Now we're going to put in the top right corner. So first it's the high X, so that's 1148. And then finally the other Z, which is negative 554. Perfect. So press enter again. We get our options for yes, no, or scan. I'm going to say Y for yes. It's doing the calculation. Now this one should take a little longer because I believe, we've explored probably a little bit more of our overworld than we have in the nether, but shouldn't take all that long. However, once this is done, folks, the editing is done. So yeah, that being said, I'll let this finish up. I'll meet you guys back in the world. Now, in order to test out everything we've done, to see if it worked, there are two main things that we can do. So first of all, we can go over by where I's house used to be, and we can actually just take a look at the land and see if the land has changed. He had planted a couple custom, small forests and did a bunch of other work on the land over there. So if we go over there and take a look, I'll be able to tell right away whether or not the changes have taken effect. So that's going to be just over here. Everything looks so good. The landscape. Oh, I just love that, the way the fog looks and how it all disappears. Oh, beautiful. And the water, so pretty. All right, so I think everything looks good, folks. Those trees were not there from what I remember, so that is fantastic. But the real indicator is actually what we're climbing over right now. And right here. So the pumpkins weren't there. The custom forest that he had planted would have been right here. And all of this actually would have been dug away because it was all used for concrete. So this means that the work that we did with Amulet worked out perfectly. So that is absolutely wonderful. Now we have one more check to verify if the work that we did with the prune tool actually worked out. All right, so here we are. We're back at the base. Now we can see some iron doors and what they look like in the daylight. So shiny, absolutely beautiful. All right, so we're gonna go right down to the bottom to get to where I was strip mining, because there were a few of these tunnels that I had dug a super long way, so I'll know right away whether or not this worked if we get cut off. And I believe one of them was this tunnel here. This went, almost to spawn from what I remember. So if this tunnel ends up getting cut off, really, really shortly, then we are doing good. Yeah, kind of like that. Yep, kind of exactly like that. Okay, now there is one other way we can check, and that is way up this way. Now, if you remember correctly, we had set this at 1200, but yeah, look, I can already tell that it's been done. This wasn't here before, so that means that the work we did with Amulet definitely reset a lot of these chunks, meaning that the work that we did with the prune tool would have reset the rest. So that is absolutely fantastic, folks. That means everything we did worked perfectly, and we are good to go. All right. Oh no, creeper! Creeper! Ah! I'm trying to do a video here, man. Get in here! Jeez. Can't even do a video without a creeper wanting to intrude. Oh. All right, folks. Give me a moment here. We'll get back up topside. We'll finish up for today. All right, it's still daylight? Okay, well, that's good. Ah, looking beautiful. Looking beautiful. All right, well, there you have it, folks. Now, I hope everybody enjoyed the look at both Amulet and the Prune tool today. If you feel like you want to use those and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And now that we have the final editing done on the world, folks, we are good to go. So be prepared. Next episode, we'll get back in our groove. We'll get back to building, setting up some cool redstone contraptions. I'm already hating the back of this waterfall, so we're definitely going to have to fix that at some point. But yep, I am back on track, and we are ready to go. So on that note, I'd just like to say, once again, thanks for stopping by. My name is Light, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!